evening. I'll wait for people to join. Or hello if you're joining after the live Facebook session. Get yourself into something comfy, roll out your yoga mat if you haven't already. So this evening we'll be working on taking forward some of the work that we did last week. We'll just do a little recap as well. And working into some more inversion prep. So you might get a bit warm whilst you're doing it. But yeah, it's a cold evening this evening, so layer up if you need to. So I'll get us started. So to begin with, we're going to start with some wrist warm-ups, because I think it's really important to warm up the wrists when you're doing any weight-bearing exercise. So just make sure that you do that before you start. Option to grab blocks as well if you do have problems with your wrists, because that might actually help to relieve any tension in the wrists and the shoulders, and it extends the length of the arm. So particularly if you're really tight in your hips, that's going to really help. Okay, so we'll start off by interlacing the fingers and taking a wave with the arms, with the wrists, starting to warm them up. Engaging the breath whilst we're doing this, so breathing in and out through the nose. And then taking the wrists in one direction. And then the other. And then last thing, creating those stars with the hands. So starting off any yoga pose, making sure that your foundations are prepared. Okay, so from here, I'd love for you to come into a tabletop position. I'm going to start off in our downward facing dog. So remember that we want to protract the shoulder blades. So we want to press away from the mat and allow the shoulder blades to roll out towards the outside of the biceps. So taking a tuck of the toes, pressing back, pressing the hips towards the back of the room. Gazing towards the thighs, the belly button, scooping in the belly button, zipping up through the waist, engaging that core, and taking an external rotation with the shoulder blades. And from here, I'd like to take some spinal rolls. So introducing the protraction of the shoulder blades. So we're coming forward into our high plank, then bringing the knees to a hover just above the mat, really scooping in the belly, rounding the spine, pressing back into our downward facing dog. Coming forward once more into high plank, hovering the knees as we scoop in the belly, really rounding that spine, as we press the hips back towards the back of the room. And going once more, coming forwards into high plank, lowering the knees to a hover, scooping the belly in, taking the hips towards the back of the room. So, as mentioned last week, downward facing dog is actually an inversion. Any pose where you're taking the head below the heart is an inversion. So, an extension of downward facing dog is actually dolphin pose. So you can come down onto the knees if you wish at this point, see how you're feeling. So with dolphin pose, this is actually prep for an inversion. So I will demonstrate how we get into that pose, similar to downward facing dog, but we're coming onto the forearms. And again, we really want to press the mat away, taking those shoulders away, shoulder blades away from each other. So starting off in our downward facing dog, and you can either come down one at a time onto your forearms, or bringing the forearms down, really spreading through those fingers. Option to look forward, really pressing away with the forearms. You'll be coming onto the tiptoes here as well. Making sure you're not shrugging those shoulders in, really pressing away from the mat. Possibly taking tiptoes towards the elbows, maybe walking back, perhaps taking one foot off the mat, then the other, and then coming back up into your downward facing dog in whichever way is easy for you. Breathing here. Bringing the knees down and gently coming back into your child's pose. Reaching out, stretching through the length of the back. Option to take the arms down the sides of the body. Taking a breath here. So in yoga, we usually work to take opposition poses, to work out through the back. So we've obviously taken a lot of poses here where we've been bringing the shoulders forward, rolling through the spine. So I'd like you to sit tall for a moment. Bringing the legs out in front. Sitting tall. And then taking the right foot over the left leg. Bringing right arm behind. And taking left elbow over the left knee. Any of those who are tuning in who regularly come to my classes, you'll know I often get my lefts and rights confused. Breathing here. So here we're looking to lengthen through the spine. Imagining that there's an invisible thread pulling the head towards the ceiling. And then, if the neck allows, looking over that right shoulder. Coming back around, and I'd like to introduce you to our baby grasshopper. So we're actually going to take this on the other side. So taking the left hand out to the side, and then taking the right fingers around the right big toe, and we're coming onto the left foot and the left hand, and we're lifting the hip off the mat. So coming into a baby grasshopper. So this is also a twist as well. So coming up into our baby grasshopper, pressing the hand away. Don't forget to breathe here. And lowering down. Taking the legs out in front. Taking a shake of the legs. And let's go on the other side. So taking the right foot over the left thigh. And this time taking the left hand behind. Right elbow over that right knee. Twisting through the spine, but also creating that length in the spine.
left toes coming back towards you, flexing that foot. Breathing here. Then untwisting from here, and we'll go again on the other side, coming into that baby grasshopper. So taking hold of the left big toe, and we're coming onto the right hand and the right foot. So really pressing down through that right foot as we lift up into our baby grasshopper. Pressing into the mat with the right hand and the right foot, lifting up. Breathing here. Taking one more breath. And coming gently back down. Uncrossing the legs, taking a little shake of the legs. And then bringing the feet closer in. We're going to stretch out the spine, lengthen through the spine, just really gently. So coming over bent knees, perhaps resting the chin, the forehead in between the knees as we lengthen through the spine. Just taking a moment here. And slowly coming back up. So that's our inversion prep for this Friday evening. So do tune in in a couple of weeks' time. So next week I am away, but do tune in next week for a continuation of the inversion prep. And I'll look forward to seeing you soon. Bye.